Okay, everyone, welcome, Willkommen. We're going to zoom through this week ahead where we've got this solar eclipse happening in the sign of Aries. Whew, tomorrow, Monday, April the 8th, because I want to give you guys like the most important information, like first and foremost. So, first and foremost, eclipses are very eerie, they're strange, they feel very surreal. Things will feel you may be experiencing things as like magical. Things may be feeling more magical. It doesn't always have to be magical. Things can just be feeling off, strange, especially when it comes to your specific subjective experience in your life. So maybe things are pretty normal, but just for you in your life, there's like stuff just feels strange or weird or different. So that's normal. We get two eclipse cycles a year. 2020, we had three. So, okay, there's that. So, right off the bat, adjust your expectations. I think they're just going to feel different, a little bit different. You just got to go with got to go with the waves. Okay, so the eclipse is happening tomorrow. Hello, welcome, everyone. The eclipse is tomorrow, Monday the 8th. And a solar eclipse is when the sun and the moon meet up together, and it's an eclipse because of its proximity to the north node. It's not a real, God, we can get into digression. It's not like an actual thing, it's just like an intersectional point of the ecliptic. So the proximity to this special point and the upswing of the lunar node means that this is a very growth oriented eclipse. So things growing really fast, and because it's an eclipse, it's going to possibly shorten the amount of time that things should be happening. So if you thought you were getting married in a year and a half, maybe you have to push it up in a very short amount of time for some reason. If you thought, oh, my spouse is getting a job in another state and we have a long time until we have to move, something may come up where it's like, oh my God, now we have to take the whole family and we're moving right now and this is happening right now. So there's like the timetables that can definitely get, you know, make allowances for that, because things with eclipses, they're very fated and there's like no stopping it. There's no unseeing it. You can't unknow something. So if things are coming up that are happening very fast and it's a real thing, then you've got as much control as you've got to control your responses to it. And just be forewarned that this is not like, how do I put this? You want to be careful that it's real, that it's not like an imagined pressure where you feel like you've got to do something or say something or take some kind of big wild action when you don't really have to. So some people are absolutely going to be channeling that energy and they're going to do stuff, and that maybe that's not like a bad thing, but it's just like in some cases it's real and in some cases it's imagined. Like you don't really have to do something, but you feel like you do. So that's going to be the only tricky part with everyone's self discernment, because some of us are going to be feeling like we've got to do something and it's going to be the right thing to do. You may feel like, I can't wait anymore. I can't wait anymore. This is the moment. The time is right now. It's right here. Opportunity just going right past me. Or like you may feel that and you may feel a sense of urgency, but only you will know. Only you will know if that is an honest to God download from the galactic center, or if it's your anxiety. Oh, damn, I forgot to post it. I finished all of my readings. Whenever I finish a long list of readings that I have for people, I feel like $1,000,000. And so I finished, but one of the questions was so good, and I told them I'm going to use this as like a TikTok question answer thing. So they asked me, how do you tell the difference between fears and anxieties and intuition? Like, how do you feel that this is so like one of the wisest questions ever? And that's what's going to be the most important thing at this time. Not just right now, but the last 2 weeks, right now, and the next Actually, let's just take it to the rest of April, the entire month of April to the beginning of May. It's going to be a very topsy-turvy point of the entire year of 2024. This is that big of a deal for this year in terms of the hot astrology. So if you're feeling like, I have to do the now is the time. I'm leaving the nest. I'm doing my own thing for the first time in my life, or whatever it is. That's very likely an honest, true, intuitional direction. Okay. With the new moon, you want to in the hours. You want to sit in that energy and just soak it up, and just soak it up so that you can recognize the concentration. So as a psychic, you need to know, you need to categorize all these different feelings so you know what they are, and you know how messages are getting to you, and but you have to know, you have to feel the difference between an anxious thought, between that and a download from the galactic center, between that and a subconscious fear. You have to feel the difference of all these different feelings to understand and be able to trust yourself with your accurate judgment of, that's a subconscious fear. That's something left over. That's versus I need to follow this feeling. This is my intuition. This is my higher self. This is a guardian angel or something. You have to know the different feelings and what they feel like, and be able to discern between them. And they feel different for everyone. Everyone's a unique, different individual. So they're going to feel differently for everyone, but they will be distinct. And the better you get at listening to your intuition, the stronger those feelings will get. And it'll be less and less difficult for you to discern what that intuitional feeling is. So just think back in your memory. You can do it right here, right now. Save this video, come back to it later. Think about all those times you felt an intuitional feeling that you should have listened to, and then life played out and showed you that you should have listened to yourself. Write it down if you'd like. Get a nice little catalog of these moments. That's going to be your first helpful tool to use in terms of figuring out, well, what does that feeling feel like for me? Okay, go back to that log. Hey everybody. Cool. Ah, thanks guys. I love you. I love you guys. Hope everyone's doing okay. I know so it is, eclipses always do feel very surreal. And even if you are used to feeling like life feels very surreal all the time, it still somehow manages to feel surreal during eclipse windows. So that's just par for the course. And a lot of these things that are going to be coming up for everyone over the course of April are going to be the things that you just don't want to talk about. You don't want to deal with it. You don't want to think about it. You don't want to look at it. You're like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, that's the Chiron wounded healer part of it, where some of these things it's going to be the last freaking thing you want to talk about. It's like, I can't look you in the eye right now. No, so I promised you answers. Okay, the answer, it's in the tagline of the headline of this video. The answers are coming after the crisis. I don't know about you guys. So on Monday, April the 1st, Mercury stationed retrograde. And that was the quarter moon in Capricorn on an eclipse, because we had an eclipse before that I almost fell right into, guys, like the Mercury retrograde, trap. I was spiraling. It was so powerful and intense. And it's crazy because I knew it. I'm like, Mercury station's retrograde today. Don't believe anything you hear. And don't say anything. Natalie, for the love of God, keep your trap shut. It was so hard. It was so, that's the thing, being someone that cares about self-mastery and psychic ability, blah, blah, blah. It's not that you just stop feeling negative feelings. You don't stop getting psychic attacks. You don't stop getting the corrupted impulses from your subconscious, unhealed parts of you. That doesn't stop. All right. You just, I would say you are so much more honest with yourself that you stop fooling yourself about what you're feeling. So everything I was feeling on Monday, it was still raw and painful and and very like visceral, but you guys, it was met with like so much more maturity and so much more like wisdom and self-knowledge and more. I'm better at like restraint, like restraining myself, like keeping my trap shut. I'm getting better at it. And so, but like I knew it, I could see myself like going through the day, and I'm like, it was so very hard. It was, but I knew it. I had the self awareness, like it's Mercury stationing retrograde, like on my Mars. My Mars is in Aries, and I knew my astrology. I'm like, Natalie, for the love of God, please, please. I'm like begging myself, you guys, please, please, Natalie. Like, so I swear, if you've had breakdowns up until this point, if you have breakdowns after Monday, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You just have to watch yourself going through it and hold yourself back from blowing up your spot in your life, in your work, in your personal life, in your family, your friends, in your with whatever is important. Blowing up at your dog, and you're gonna care what your dog thinks about you afterwards. Like whatever it is, like just observe the feelings and the impulses and everything, and breathe through it. Meditation, if you can get to a safe place, like where you're alone in a climate controlled experience, like your car or something, great. But sometimes you just can't have the luxury of going off to just like meditate by yourself for like hours. So you have to breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Very good. Let's do one more. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Very good. We also had remote viewing Saturday. It was amazing. Love you guys. It's going to be every Saturday in the month of April. TBD after April, but April, it's going to be every Saturday at 2:00 Central Standard Time. So I customize the meditations for all my people. Okay, we'll talk about it later. But anyway, I promised you the answer. So if you have the crisis in the beginning of the week, it's a dark freaking. There's no light. The dark moon, the sun, and like it's a seed moment. So this is going to start new opportunities. This is going to begin new eras for you. And yeah, some doors are going to be closed forever, and some opportunities are going to be new that you never had ability or access to, or the maturity level to handle, or whatever wasn't lined up, it's lining up now. And what you could get out of it could be so good for you and so healing because of, yes, the work that you've been doing, but also because something about the timing really is spot on. So eclipses, like I said, shorten the timelines of things. So if you think something's going to take 6 months to a year, it could happen in a day. It could happen in an hour. It could be a phone call away. So in that way, this could be part of the surreality of the month of April. I'm coming back to the answer, I swear. Okay, so it's a seed moment. So Monday, it's like the moon needs to gain in light a little bit. And you don't want to manifest on this energy, and you just want to let shit happen. And you just try to respond as high vibrational as possible. For me, I have to like separate myself. I have to take myself out so I don't fuck anything up. Excuse my French. And then I can put myself back in when I know that I can like really behave. Think about my mom. Think about my mom. She's the only one that gets me. No, I'm kidding. But it's like, but for real, it's like whatever it takes, whatever you've got to do, whatever you got to do, okay? Because it'll be, Aries is very impulsive. All right. Feels amazing. It feels so amazing to just, okay, so I have my Mars in Aries. If I want something, like the desire, especially if I want to do something, if I want to like feel the exhilaration of climbing a tree or something like that, I will be immediately frustrated that I'm not already in the middle of doing it right when I get the idea to do it. I'm already impatient that I'm not already doing it. And this was a huge thing in my life, to just like slow down physically, like just slow down. I mean, so, it could be a very impulsive energy that you may feel like, I got it. I know what I'm doing. I know what I want. I feel it. This is it. Let's take the Chevy to the levee. And you might be right. However, there will be more revealed to you. There will be more assets and resources and benefits and knowledge, information coming into your life to support this new image. Let's turn the jewel on this image. New things will be coming in to add dimension to this new image, idea, want, desire, purpose, opportunity that's forming for you. And you don't want to act too impulsively because it could be already based on old information. Okay. So take note of how you feel and what you want and what you're thinking about. What I love about Aries energy, if you're an Aries, I have no idea how you people live life. If you're an Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, I can't even imagine being that impulsive. I'm only a Mars in Aries. I'm not even like a true blue Aries. I have no idea how you people control yourselves. I have no idea how you do it. Praise to all of you that can pull it. What I love about Aries energy is that you're very smart. It's very, very brilliant, mentally brilliant. And what I love about it is that there's no separation between like thought and action. Like once you get the idea, you just do it. Like I love that. Like I love not waiting. If I want something, I just go get it. If I want to do something, I just leave. I love that. It's like it's very empowering. So I would say find something that you can physically do if you are getting a no or a slap on the wrist, if there's something you want to do and like there's an authority that's saying you can't do it. All right, so the new moon solar eclipse is Monday, tomorrow, hours from now. Then on Wednesday the 10th, we have Mars conjoining Saturn in Pisces, the ruler of the new moon, coming into Saturn. It's just like it's like you put in a request at work and then like the boss denies it. Or you want to take your class on a field trip and the parents say no, or the principal says no, or there's something that you're trying to do, but there's just like, it's either an authority figure or it's a responsibility. Maybe you already made a commitment to something else and you have to finish up that before you can do what you really want to do. It's like, but don't fret, because that's just, see, if you're freaking out making decisions on that, you could screw something up for yourself because you don't have all the information. The answer, Natalie, get to the answer. It's the 11th, all right? It's Thursday. It's happening Thursday. So the answer comes in on Thursday because of the Sun Mercury Cazimi happening at 22 degrees of Aries. So this eclipse happening on a Mercury retrograde is so, we really have to deal with it, huh? Like we really have to deal with it. There's no getting around it. We really have to do it. Overcome the fear of loss, fear of judgment, fear of whatever. Just get over it. Just do it anyway. This is the time to be brave and courageous. It could be kind of lucky. All right. So what I do love about Wednesday is that, sure, there could be something that's a little bit serious or responsible, but it's also, if you're just the most mature person in the room, throughout this last eclipse in Libra, I had a client, and then I told somebody else in the other area of life, I told them about the same thing. I'm like, I'm having the same conversation again, telling you guys the same thing. if you humble yourself as deep as you can be honest with yourself, and really, if you're the one to humble yourself and you're really honest with yourself and about who you are, how you are, your life, and if you humble yourself and go as real as you can go, as real as you can get, nothing, these eclipses, nothing in life can knock you down. Do you get it? Nothing in life can push you around and make you feel like you are twisting in the wind, like you're directionless, that you're out of control of your life, that you're just, life is pushing you around. If you just humble yourself and are super honest with yourself, nothing's going to come and just like mess with you in life, because you'll have already humbled yourself so deeply and honestly. If you're super honest with yourself, and then no one else can, like, no one else can fuck with you. So I'll give you the same guidance, the same advice, because Wednesday is the day to humble yourself, so that if an authority figure does say no or not right now, it doesn't kill you. It doesn't, your world doesn't end. It doesn't shatter your expectations. You can just be mature and say, okay. I mean, maybe make don't make a face. Try not to, but all right, so there's that. And then Thursday's the answers. This isn't a super huge deal with the Mercury Cazimi. It does happen a few times a year. So I kind of see it as like just like a nice treat. A really nice treat that maybe you save for, maybe you get like a specific candy when you see Wagner with your friend, that you guys see Wagner twice, 2, 3 times a year. And whenever you do, it's like an all day thing. And you go and I don't know, you smoke a bowl, you have cocktails, you get the favorite candy, and it's just like a nice little treat. But instead of that, instead of like sweets or whatever, this is like information and knowledge and answers and solutions. So if there's crises and problems and delays and setbacks and power struggles and people wanting independence, and there's rebellion and confusion and heightened impulsivity Monday through Wednesday of this week, Thursday has the answer. Thursday, someone figures it out. Someone figures it out. It becomes the light bulb moment, and it suddenly becomes clear what needs to be done. Maybe it's through messages, maybe it's through approvals, maybe it's through correspondence or instructions, decisions. It's the communications, but that's what you can. That's when you can expect it this week, Thursday and after Thursday. You as well will be getting the news, the answers, the results, insights. You can also see very clearly what the actual problem is. So maybe there's just like chaos. Maybe it's just being chaos and chaotic. And this is why I don't like it when eclipses start with a lunar eclipse and then it's a solar eclipse, because it's like it's starting with a full moon and then a new moon, which means that something is ending, and then it's just like you're twisting in the wind and you're like, well, what the fuck? But the new thing hasn't started yet. So we study astrology, so we know there's a new beginning in a couple of weeks. We know there's new cycles coming in. But imagine if you're just like out there living life without astrology and all this shit's just ending, and you think that you're just standing there with nothing. You don't know a whole bunch of stuff is flooding in soon. So this week in particular could feel like a lot of doors still shutting as the new things are coming in. So it might take a few days and people might spiral about their lives for those few days. You don't have to spiral. It's not like, more will come in, more will come to light. But Thursday, like I said, it'll like the solution and the problem should be pretty clear. And that's how you find the solution, is by understanding the problem from a realistic, heightened perspective. Oh, I want to talk about 300. Okay, so in 300, King Leonidas, okay, figured out the problem and figured out the solution. But you have to humble if you humble, the best leaders are the most humble. The best leaders are like, they see their role as like a public freaking servant. All right, I'm here to serve you. There's boundaries. All right, good leaders are not going to allow like barnacles and users and bad influences to pollute the group. They're going to protect the group. They're going to protect and have great boundaries. So it's not like someone's just going to walk all over a great leader. That's not the case. A leader can humble themselves and be self-aware and self-reflective enough to be that good leader that can steer the family, if it's a family, to steer the team, if it's a work team, to steer whatever it happens to be. Okay. So Thursday will give you the greatest insight into what the problem has been. And then when you see that very clearly, and like I said, the more real you are with yourself, the more you've humbled yourself and are really honest with yourself, ding, it'll be very bright and clear. And then that's what you want. You want like crystal clear information and thoughts and ideas, and you want that sharpness. And the anxiety or fears, all or super excessive emotionalism, being overly attached to the ego, being overly attached to status or how you're seen in public, like all these other distractions are just making it more difficult for you to see yourself and your life clearly. That's what I love about this eclipse and the fire sign Aries, is that like Aries can be so freaking smart. So you're gonna see into the problem, you're gonna see the solution, and it'll be clear. It'll be this will be the best, the better you are with yourself, like the more self-aware you are and self-honest you are. Whereas anyone trying to just like be a bully this week or like be very coercive to get your way or to be like selfish and egotistical at the expense of others or to be like overly competitive, these are all some of the lower vibrations of Aries. Being like very, very overly selfish, overly like throwing other people under the bus and being really really greedy, like all of that's like the over compensation, and being like overly competitive or overly aggro, like overtly. Okay, so with like the fire signs, with all these different signs and all these different energies, what I always see on these high points, these astrological high points, whether it's a conjunction or a square or a trine or whatever the astrological event is, people are very performative. They're performative for masculinity. They're being super aggro, but it's performative. It's overcompensating, masking some kind of insecurity, or it's whatever it happens to be. So look for that, especially with like fire signs, especially with like Libra, Venus type stuff too. So, like I said, Thursday will have the answers. And I would say just be honest with yourself and know yourself really, really well, because it will help you see how other people are just performative. They're not really that confident. They're not really that motivated. They're not really that ambitious. They're not really that selfless. They're not really that caring, but they want the credit. They want the credit for being whatever. So when you identify that, the power comes from not making a judgment. Full moon lunar eclipse in Libra a couple weeks ago, ending. That was it. Like last couple weeks, it's either been about like ending like the judginess, making these like judgments, or finally getting off the fence about something, because Libra's analysis paralysis. So things have been ending. We've been forced to get off the fence about certain things, and now it's time to take that big, bold, brave, honest, humble step on that new path. Because unless it's like truly for you, it has to be you shaped. It has to be you shaped. No one else can know your life. No one else can make your life decisions for you. You have to own them. If you're getting pressure from everyone in the village to do something and it's not the right choice for you, and everything inside of you is screaming, do something else or don't do it, That's still on you. Even though they were pressuring you, they're not living your life. That's your responsibility. So you're not going to be at the end of your life saying, "Oh, I was peer pressured into it, so I married the wrong person, or I didn't get married at all, or I got married prematurely, or I took this job, or I said no to this opportunity, or I whatever it is." There's no one to answer to but yourself, and that's the most important thing to take responsibility of. Even when you're seeing other people being very like performative, let it go. You don't want to waste this beautiful Aries energy in conflict with other people because you care about changing their mind or you care about them understanding where you're coming from. Only you have to understand where you're coming from. It's your life. All right. There could be maybe you grew up with a subconscious loyalty to an older sibling or a parent that you weren't going to do better than them. You weren't going to learn more about life than them. You weren't going to be more successful or beautiful or wealthier than that parent. You have a subconscious loyalty that keeps you beneath them, or someone you look up to just so you can still always look up to them, but you're actually outgrowing them. Maybe that's a mentor. Maybe it's an older sibling. Maybe it's a best friend. Maybe it's a coworker. Maybe whatever it happens to be. You have to own that. You have to say, okay, I'm stepping into my own now and I'm doing this thing, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I feel I've been rambling a lot about this eclipse today. So that's when the answer comes through Thursday. And then it kind of leads into, let's see, Gemini, Cancer, the weekend. I'll save the rest for next week's chit chat. This week, all you really have to do is humble yourself as deeply as you can be honest with yourself. Connect with your feel, like really understand what you are going through. That's what I mean when I say selfish and egocentric. Just don't think about other people. Don't worry about other people. It's out of your control. If it's out of your control, you don't have to care about it. Marcus Aurelius. Where's my book? I'm all into the Stoics. Lately, since the new moon eclipse in October of 2023. Actually, it was like late September. There was something else happened, some Virgo stuff. But anyway, that's what you guys need to know. Are there any questions? I love the way you word things. Thank you. Thank you. I'm a writer. I'm working on some stories, working on my things. I love words. I love stringing them together like pearls on a necklace. I'm so grateful for you and the way you confirm things, thoughts I've been revisiting. Oh, that makes me very happy to hear. Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. Okay. Last but not least, I'm going to say, like I said, because this is an eclipse, you want to focus on timeline jumping, which in a nutshell is focusing on generating the feeling you want to feel, not on manifesting specific people or outcomes. Trying to manifest during eclipse time is just so wild. You're going to have so many potential unintended consequences. You're better off just letting the universe bring people and situations and circumstances to you, and then you make the best out of it. You make the best with it with how well you know yourself and how well you trust yourself. That's where I leave you. I'm going to hop on Patreon. It is free in the month of April. Everyone go sign up, check it out, try it out. I'm going to go through all the 12 zodiac signs, and we're going to talk about how this is going to affect every single zodiac sign, what area of your life, and where the nuggets of gold and information and the answers, where you can expect it this week. So for all my patrons, Sun, Moon, Risings, I'll see you over there soon. Everyone else, I love you. Take very good care. And until next time, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful head starlings.